Now, to begin with, I would like to say the topic for this panel discussion, which is EV after sales and service and customer support. Let's build together. And to participate in this particular discussion, I would like to invite Mr. S. Punnaivanam, CXO Quality and After Sales at Greaves Electric Mobility. Sir, can I have you here on stage? Oh, welcome. A whammy welcome for you, sir. He's a WAF star for Best After Sales Head PV category. With an impressive career spanning over 35 years in the automobile industry, Punnai has garnered a wealth of experience, having worked with some of India's leading automobile companies, including Maruti Suzuki India, Hyundai Motors India Limited, and FCA India Automobiles Private Limited, before joining the dynamic team at Greaves Electric. Known for his unwavering optimism and leadership style that sets an example, Punnai firmly believes in the power of teamwork to achieve set goals. Let's welcome this gentleman once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Please be seated. Next, may I have the pleasure to call on stage Mr. Arindam Lahiri, CEO, Automotive Skill Development Corporation, ASDC. Sir, welcome. A passionate professional with a career spanning 3 decades in manufacturing across all domains of education and training, Mr. Lahiri started his career with Maruti Udyog, received global exposure at Honeywell Inc. USA, and had an entrepreneurial stint as director and co-founder at Career Launcher India. His last assignment was with the education division of HT Media Limited. He is also currently on the advisory board for startups, educational institutions, and policy review committees of state and central government ministries. Mr. Lahiri is an alumni of IIM Lucknow. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Please allow me to call on stage Mr. Rama Shankar Pandey, CEO of Tata Green Batteries and ex-manager director of Hella India Lighting Limited. Welcome, sir. One of the youngest professional CEOs, an employee entrepreneur, purpose-led business builder, having more than 25 years of industry experience, mainly turning around businesses both in B2B and B2C. He's an integral part of the Skill India initiative of Government of India. He mentors, trains and coaches professionals and promoters from Indian automotive ecosystem and industry at large. He's passionately engaged with various initiatives of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways to fight the menace of alarming road deaths on Indian roads by steering various road safety awareness campaigns with SIAM, ACMA, ASDC, ICAT, ARAI, FICCI and CII, and hundreds of like-minded organizations and their leaderships. We welcome you, sir. No round of applause? I'm not going forward. Thank you. You're such a lovely audience. Okay. So I would like to next call on stage Mr. Jatin Tiwari, Head Field Service Vertical, Hyundai Motor India. We welcome you, sir. With over 2 decades in the automotive and engineering field, he has propelled customer trust through pioneering initiatives. His leadership across multiple domains has been instrumental in driving the customer trust in the brand by implementing industry-first and best initiatives. Hyundai Motors India has achieved significant milestones under his leadership, including the introduction of the industry's first connected car care via BlueLink, the Shield of Trust maintenance package, digital dealer PDI operation, and pioneering concepts like 100% paperless operations aimed at enhancing workshop efficiency and delivering 360-degree untagged service experience to strengthen customer trust. Oh, what a wonderful chemistry we have built. Okay, wonderful. Next, I would like to call on stage Micheal Hajj, Global Head of Application Engineering, Vehicle Repair and Maintenance. Welcome, sir. Henkel Adhesives Technologies. He's from Henkel Adhesives technologies, enabling aftermarket repair with over 22 years of experience in the automotive industry globally, specializing in adhesives and sealants with a high focus on bringing innovation to the vehicle repair and maintenance industry. More recently focused on enabling circularity in electric vehicle repair for the industry with thermal management and gasketing solutions for battery packs. We welcome you once again, sir. And next one that I would like to call on stage is Mr. Amit Asija, National BD Manager, India and Sri Lanka, KECO Body Repair Products. We welcome you, sir. He's an experienced automotive industry leader, skilled in steering business cycles, fostering revenue growth and improving profitability. Adept at collaborating with C-level stakeholders to define organizational vision and implement strategies for rapid growth. He is recognized for driving customer relation management, fostering high-performance teams, and crafting versatile business plans to enhance profitability. Lovely. And last but not the least, where's the man? He's all smiles. Let me call on stage Mr. Anuj Guglani, founder and CEO, World Auto Forum Group. He's a multidisciplinary professional, founded the World Auto Forum WAF in 2009, armed with an engineering degree from Nagpur University, an MBA from IIT Delhi and LLB from Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. He's been pivotal in establishing WAF as the leading global platform for the auto and mobility industry. He's also the co-founder of JaldiEV.com, an e-commerce platform for EVs, and the author of the acclaimed book, Oye Hoye. Okay, so I give it all to Mr. Anuj and the team. Thank you.
Thanks a ton, Deepthi. So friends, as you saw that all the panelists were standing and all of you were sitting, I think now it's time that they sit and all of you should stand. You know for whom and why? Do you look at this gentleman? Of course, he doesn't need any introduction. Punnai sir, as you call him, Mr. S. Punnaivanam. He had a small accident. He fell at the airport. He had to be rushed to the emergency at Fortis Hospital. There they said, you need to rest. He asked, can I go? He said, you can, but you need to rest. But you need to rest. He said, okay, fine. I will rest, but not in the hospital. I will rest amongst my friends here. And he made it. He made it. He is the real hero. A true fighter. Friends, a true fighter. So, I'm tilting my chair a bit to get a ringside view of everybody. Okay? Don't worry, it's not going to be aapki adalat. Okay, so friends, this is the last panel of the day, and it is on the sunrise industry, that is EV. We in the industry have always been known as the traditional industry guys, but after the transformation of vehicles into computers on four wheels and the new energy vehicles, nobody can say that we are ancient or we are old technology or we have, more than 100 years old tech. We are in the latest tech business. We are in the latest tech business. The way our automotive mobility has embraced tech, it's no one else. I can see Naveen smiling on that because he is one of the propellers of tech in our industry when it comes to the DMS, warranty, spare parts. So friends, lately EV has been facing a lot of headwinds. There are a lot of headwinds and challenges which EV is facing. The people at times say it is the IC engine lobby which is going against EV. It's the fossil fuels lobby which is going against EV. Well, at the same time, the ecosystem also is not that ready. If you have to go right now from Delhi to, say Ahmedabad by road, okay, Jaipur is still manageable. Or you have to go somewhere in the hills or in an EV, you will think twice. You will have to do that homework, that research, where is the charging point, where will I charge my vehicle, whether the hotel has the facility, or where will I hunt for it. Still it's not that practical aspect. EV really has permitted in the shared mobility space. When you talk about the three-wheeler is surprisingly the rock star of electric vehicle technology. More than 50-60%, whichever figure you depend on, so many figures also in the industry, but easily more than 50% auto rickshaw sold is electric, more than 50%. So majority technically. You know, in scooters, in two-wheelers, so much in delivery. You know, all the delivery people are preferring. Battery swapping is practically possible in two-wheeler and three-wheeler, and also in buses for that matter. But in cars, of course, it's yet to take off. There are very few people, very few companies, technology is a little complex. As of now, in the current battery chemistry, there is no battery swapping. So in short, and also skilling. So Arindam ji is here. He was smiling when we were talking about skilling in the earlier panel. In the earlier panel, which was about productivity and profitability, people were talking more about skilling. So when it comes to new energy vehicles, new age vehicles, then skilling has all the more role. So let's immediately get into a practical dive. The theme is back to basics, backed by new thinking and faster execution. So this, with respect to electric vehicles, if we can begin with Punnai sir. So Punnai sir, you of course get the royal privilege of going down first. So you are the hero, sir, for the day. Really hats off to your courage and your spirit, as simple as that. So Punnai sir, you have worked with so many OEMs, you worked with Hyundai, you are now with an electric vehicle manufacturer. What you feel are the different metrics when it comes to vehicle after sales, from ICE to EV to ICE plus EV. Like you were at Hyundai, so you had one Kona electric vehicle. So it was ICE plus EV. Now you are into pure EV. What is the difference? What are the different nuances in that?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Now, as far as Greaves electric mobility is concerned, we are also having two-wheeler fully electric. And incidentally, we also taken over MLR, who were earlier dealing with diesel plus CNG three-wheelers, L5, and now we are going to make them all electric vehicles. So, as such, both the area we are having. As far as the challenges of EV after sales service is concerned, I will broadly divide into two. Number one is the technical service challenge, which broadly depends on the product, EV or IC engine product. The other soft support, that is broadly same, the workshop, the technicians, the call center support, the SOPs for connecting with the customer and taking care of the customer, all that remain the same, whether it is IC engine or the EV vehicle. Going deeper into technical support, yes, there are a huge difference between the service support between IC engine as well as electric vehicle. For example, IC engine is quite matured. The makers, the technology, and the field network also is quite matured. More than 100 years it has evolved. Whereas in the EV industry, we are just 3 years old. I am talking about India. And currently in the two-wheeler electric vehicle, the contribution has just gone up around 6% in the total two-wheeler sales that we are doing. So it is just maturing both on the technology side, the product side, on the after-sales side. So one basic difference is that the after-sales service support depends on turnaround time. If you call any workshop in India, thanks to JD Power and all the initial aggression shown by Maruti Suzuki, the network has overall become to deliver any vehicle coming to the workshop 85 to 90% on the same day, correct? So in EV, we all started with the feeling that the vehicle should be totally trouble-free. It should only come to the workshop for a warranty repair, etc., and as such, no maintenance required. So across the industry, I was even connecting, Jatin can clarify, the after-sales revenue in the initial 3-4 years is not going to be there. I connected with my colleague in Germany, Mr. Kohl. He said they have started, selling 40% of their sales in EV, but the after-sales revenue has dropped by 50% in 3 years of EV introduction in their network.
Punnai sir, is that the reason why they intentionally price the EVs higher to compensate this loss of revenue?
The pricing largely depends on that, the items that go in. For example, it's not a deliberate item. Even government that is giving a subsidy only to support the customer on the high prices involved. As such, the battery cell, slowly prices are coming down, be it is the battery or the motor, controller, the charger, overall. Of course, the software firmware is almost common with IC engine, whether the IoT, etc., the cluster, etc. But the EV components, in the vehicle, it increases the bill of material, the raw material cost. As such, EV vehicle is going to be costlier. Otherwise, why a customer in two-wheeler should not go for a Honda Activa? Why should he or she buy an electric vehicle? Only with the expectation that the overall total cost of ownership should be lesser, against with the usage of electric vehicle. I am coming back to the point that the challenge that you are highlighting is the revenue in the after sales is not there. The vehicle park is much lesser. We are in India, now I can proudly say my vehicle park is around 210,000 vehicles in the last 3 years we have put in. And we are in the top 3 for the after sales vehicle park. So despite that, which is divided amongst 300 dealers, the load per workshop, per dealer is much lesser. And that is a primary challenge. And people also, switch. Now, since it is all, 1.5 years back, I hired people from IC engine. Hardly I got an experienced person from EV.
So, Punnai sir, here just one question which has 2 subparts. What are the primary requests for support which you usually normally get? A, from your network, and B, from your customers. Usually, say the top 3 or top 5 requests for support, customers and dealers.
Yeah. Dealers expect, a constant increase of sales volume, because in the EV industry, the business is depending upon the sales margin, which is little higher than even the IC engine scooters. So they expect a higher margin and high, constant growth of sales inquiries and retail sales. But there were some challenges, in 2 consecutive quarters, government had introduced 2 different standards, AIS phase 1 by November 22, then another safety standard for battery by April 23. And that all added to the cost. Over and above, there was a slashing of EV subsidy for the buyers to the tune of around 25%. Both added to the vehicle cost, and that is little shocking to the entire EV network. Now in the November 23, you could see the numbers going and touching the highest ever monthly sales in the EV two-wheeler industry.
So this electric scooter or electric bike going up in flames, the battery or whatever, it's like once it happens, the entire industry kind of goes back multiple steps. It creates a horror, it creates terror amongst the customers, and it affects all the companies also. So how does your company react when such an incident gets highlighted, and what are the top reasons why these EV fires happen?
See, earlier the standards as per the governments before AIS phase 1, they were not manned by a smart BMS. It was a very simple BMS which was reacting to the voltage and activating the motor to run. If you throttle, increase the capacity. And now coming from November 22, the standards have been implemented. The battery standards, which has now smart BMS, then it has to have 4 thermal sensors which will keep giving indication. If the internal temperature goes beyond say 80 degree, then it should and there are standards which talk about completely IP67. Earlier the water ingress could be there at IP65. So the standards were not that stronger before November 22. So now from November 22, even there is no choice. The batteries are more safe, and whether it is monsoon or incidences cannot happen. That is a.
So I think that's really nice to know. That's really heartening. See, at the end of the day, the industry is evolving. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
The industry is evolving. The standards are coming in, and the good thing is that the government is very alert. It's in an alert mode if these kind of incidents happen, because it was the government in the first place which had put the pressure, which had put the foot on the pedal back in 2017 at the Siam convention. If I'm sure most of you were there, where they just rattled and shook everyone. घसीट के लेके जाएंगे EV की तरफ. So the pressure is there from the government. The pressure is there from the government for standards. The companies are in the receptive mode, but we all have to get together. One step forward, 2 steps backwards is not a solution. We have to, of course, get rid of the fossil fuels, or we have to make fossil fuel vehicles more intelligent, One can say, where does the electricity come from? It comes from thermal. We have to switch towards renewable. Everything has to happen parallelly. There is no one straight answer. But here, because the EV's theme is how do we move forward in EV after sales, hence so switching gears and coming to the king of skilling at ASDC, our Arindam Lahiri sir. So Arindam ji, we were discussing on skilling. So what are the top challenges of skilling which come in the vehicle after sales workshops which you face as ASDC, and what you feel can be the blueprint for next 1 or 2 years for skilling on EV for technicians?
Okay, very good afternoon and thank you Anuj for having me here. And I was glad that in the previous panel itself we had a very significant discussion on skilling. That makes my life easier. When we have a new technology adoption like EV, I think the focus in the learning industry, which I am part of, is how do you come up with learning modules which are aligned to the newer technology, and how do you scale this up? And a couple of key challenges in that perspective is, most importantly, how do you have the resources to deliver those training? You need human resources, which is manpower who was trained to deliver training in that segment, in that technology. It's an evolving space. So people who are qualified or who are technically sound will not be available to the training part. They will already be absorbed in the industry and doing their role in the industry. So there is a very acute shortage of manpower as far as trainers are concerned, and those will need to be engaged through partnership with industry, where more and more such people can be trained by the industry who do not belong to the industry but are trained on that technology, so that there is a larger mass of people who can be trained on these. The second issue that comes is about having the right kind of facilities where the training can be conducted. Now, you can't conduct it in a live workshop or a live plant or wherever. You need some kind of a training simulated facility before you can expose the person to the real facility. So more and more of that will have to be done in the process. So whether it is EV or the traditional workshop, skilled manpower requirement, my call out to the OEMs and the dealership community or the workshop community, I would say, is you are already used to a 3S model, which is sales, service, and spares. Please add the 4th S, skills. We at ASDC will be very happy to support dealerships, workshops who are interested in doing this, to handhold you through the process of setting up your skill center. Whether it is looking for trainers, getting the trainer trained, whether you want some help in terms of how to set up the curriculum, all of it is already done with us, with support from industry. So the council works towards giving you that platform and that backbone, but we don't deliver training. The training is to be delivered at a facility which is a training location. And unless we can expand that capacity, we will always have a shortage of skilled manpower. So this is what is required. EV, it is going to be even more acute. One of the things that I must mention on EV is that right now our biggest focus, which you just spoke about in terms of fires and all that, is around the high voltage safety based training. And that is something that we are doing both for the bus segment as well as for the 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler service workshop segment. This is very critical because our general safety sensitivity in the Indian market is quite low. And when we are dealing with something which has such a potential of a hazard or an accident, we need to be extra cautious and extra effort must be placed on training as far as safety is concerned. Yeah.
Absolutely. So one is what Pune sir mentioned about the battery standards, about the smart BMS, about the thermal sensor, that's about the product. What Arindam ji mentioned, it's about training and skilling of the technician on the high voltage systems, at the bay. Suppose the same bay is being used for an IC vehicle and the same bay has to be used practical basis for an EV. How do you change over? What is the time? What are the things you need to change? Or you're not supposed to change, but still it gets changed at the workshop level.
I mean, see, even in a regular vehicle today, that has also changed a lot. That has a lot of electronics. Now you're handling an electronics part, you need to have an ESD band, electrostatic discharge band.
Exactly.
Mechanics and technicians are not used to wearing it. Why should I wear it? It needs a mindset change, and that can only be done through constant training.
So I feel that ASDC has a much bigger role to play, and for that the industry needs to be supportive and and has to accept. We cannot just blame it on these guys that it's just their job at ASDC. They can only work if you are supporting. OEMs require this training. I would say this training is all the more required for aftermarket, all the more by the roadside technicians. They don't have an iota of this knowledge. They don't have it all. So they need access. So somewhere we need to democratize and we need to have a common platform for EV learning, EV skilling. And these things sound very good from the stage in the program, but the moment we exit the door, it all fizzles out. We're just working the way we've been working, the usual way of working, getting the usual results. Kahin pataka fatta hai, suddenly government has a knee-jerk reaction, ye ban kar do, wo ban kar do, and then some things happen, some constructive things also happen, we get new standards too, but then eventually we fall into that same rut. So instead of doing that, let's get together. Let's just have the lines fizzled out. ये OEM है, ये aftermarket है, ये two-wheeler वाला है, ये CV वाला है, ये government वाला है, ये private वाला है. Let's all come together because it's a matter of our next generation. What are we giving as a legacy to our next gen and those seniors who are grandparents to the next gen, right? That's very imperative. So coming to the Amitabh Bachchan of road safety in our country, our dear Pandey ji. Pandey ji is the CEO of a battery company, Green Battery. So Pandey ji, battery is the heart and soul of an electric vehicle, whether it's a component level or a value or a cost level. So when you are providing this important component to your customers, the EV makers, what are your suggestions to them at the workshop level for productivity, for process, for HSSE?
So thanks, Anuj. First of all, EV is in transition, right? So any industry when it is before transition was all right, and after transition also will be all right. But during the transition, the biggest thing is on the return on investment. Because, for everybody that's a question mark. Today, EV servicing still remains as a cost center, supporting. That's why we are talking about the price of the car or price of the vehicle has to be higher. Because unlike in the existing industry, which is stabilized, you earn actually from service. You have stabilized your forecasting, what needs to be done, work instructions, all the failure modes are all known. When it is known industry, then you can make money out of it. When it's unknown, it's the risk-taking ability. Whoever is taking risk is coming in EV. Of course, the discussion of EV, XEV, and all the sustainability, I'm not going into that. Let's only stick to aftermarket. Within the aftermarket, even before the EV came, you have seen how cars have become more and more electrified before the EV powertrain also. And electronic component in the car increased from one control unit to another to hundreds of the control unit. And then the ECU itself, to the extent that if suppose the total component of electronics in a car becomes 30-35% in past, it will now exceed 50% plus. Now, whether you call it as a automotive industry or a electronics industry or a IT industry, that's a fundamental question the industry has to ask. Because when you touch or you come from an IT industry, the functional safety is on a peak. The ISO 26262 is already understood when you manufacture a mobile, when you have those kind of batteries which should not catch fire. But when you come from a mechanical automotive industry, for you to graduate to that level of functional safety, even before EV came, when we used to go either at Hella or wherever I worked before, the OEMs also, the safety goals to put it, they will say, aap dal do. You start that whole development process with that. But with the vehicle recall policy coming in now, with government's regulation, I think it's good to push, because as an industry, we have to, of course, it's a price-sensitive country, a hugely price-sensitive country, but you cannot compromise on safety goals. Now that transition is happening. Fortunately, now complete industry has come together, like you are telling whether we are together or not, has come together on the safety goals. Everybody's engineering team is fully geared up on that. So which makes us at least understand that we are graduating ourselves to electronic industry. Now when we go there, probably our industry's whole skilling system, training system, and also the garage workshop has to change. But when you talked about the battery overall and the accidents and the fire happening, let's not get scared too much about it, because not only the regulation has come, but even the OEMs have become smarter and smarter. The only difference, you said that our EV industry did not come only from a government intervention, but the biggest EV which came as a three-wheeler, the e-rickshaw, that just came automatically. It came from a market force. It did not need an incentive. It just came, you import from China, you have the kit and you make it. I think in Delhi, I remember that just mushroomed suddenly. The rickshaw guy, there was a need for it. And you will be surprised that still 99% of these EVs are on lead acid battery. And it's not a bad business, believe me. The normal EV still is a cost center for the workshops, but the lead acid e-rickshaw is giving money. So I supply a lot to those e-rickshaw. It's a huge number, and these batteries have a recycling time, sometimes even 6 months. So you actually replenish, and battery is a huge value of an EV, at least for this e-rickshaw, and every 6 months to 1 year, you actually replenish. Now, a lot of innovation is happening in that area also.
So, Pandey, one very focused question. When it comes to these three magical words, customers, profitability, and growth, every business needs it. So when we come to a EV workshop, at an EV workshop, an entrepreneur is running it, an OEM is supporting it. How do these three words play out at an EV workshop, or at a dealership level and at an OEM level? Customers,
I think the biggest thing
growth.
what we just heard about the adoption. So if we have a larger adoption and the scale increases, the business case will increase. Until then, I have a fear that it will remain as a cost center. But the good news is, in two-wheelers and in e-rickshaw, the numbers are increasing. E-rickshaw is already there. So there, all these three has to deal now with how they are changing themselves from a normal workshop or garage to an electronics or electrical. If you look at a workshop today, electrical section will be a small section. If you look at the mechanic total population, or even what we trained at ASDC, the auto technician training, which is mechanical, will be a small subset will be electrical, the auto electrician. Now the auto electrician is becoming a larger set. So making more of those people inside your workshop and giving them that, and the workshop will change. You need to have an ESD work floor. You need to have, it's not a lubricant anymore of that amount. It's not radiator of that kind. It's all changing to a very different model. Now here, of course, skilling is one, but also the ecosystem has to come.
Fair enough. So coming to Jatin Bhai. So Jatin Bhai is heading field service, field force at Hyundai Motor India. And it's a very important profile. All the dealerships, all the dealerships across the country, directly, indirectly reporting to you, to your managers, to your field teams. They come to you for their requirements, requests, feedbacks. So when it comes to customer care as in that call center customer care, when you're taking calls, customer complaints, customer feedback, ICE vis-a-vis EV. You already have one pure electric car, and you're going to be launching several very soon. What is the key difference in the customer priority between ICE and EV?
So, good evening, everybody, and thank you for making me a part of this forum, and more so because I am sharing a stage with my boss of 20 years. It is slightly awkward for me also to share the same stage with him. So coming to your question, yes, how customer care is different. We at Hyundai Motor India are right now having a portfolio of two pure electric vehicles. One is the Kona, as well as second is the Ioniq 5. A lot of discussion happened in terms of skilling of people, skilling of technicians. So I would like to comment further on that, that yes, scaling of technicians is a very big challenge. But it is a problem which is probably in a structured way very, very solvable. Because the technicians now are also smart enough and they know that the future of their future, because most of them are young guys, their future is towards electric vehicles. And they are they're very, very passionate to know about electric vehicles and upskill themselves. So the course that all the courses that we run at our 8 training centers are almost going back. Because for a technician, it gives him the typical technician image that we have is a greasy and oily guy. He suddenly elevates himself to be a tech guy. So this is one sort of a promotion that happens to him, and he looks forward to it. The question that you have put forward about customer care is more of a long-term challenge. Because the expectations from a dealership which the EV customer has is very different. Because the current EV profile we see across brands, the customer is a very, very evolved customer in terms of his sheer knowledge of what he has purchased. So when he lands at the dealership with his car, half of the research he has already done from the internet. And the questions that he asks to the dealership staff are sometimes wherein the service advisor are finding for answers probably about range anxiety, probably about after 3 or 4 years of my car usage, what will be the percentage of battery degradation which will happen, and so on and so forth. There could be so many questions. So yes, customers' basic expectation as of now, the EV customers is more on when the initial part, the car is new, the expectation is more on understanding his range anxiety issues in terms of why when I start the car every morning, a different mileage shows on my cluster. It is about more on the charging infrastructure which is available, how it will be scaled up, whether OE is doing anything to make sure everything is available on my app instead of me downloading 6-7 type of apps and searching for public chargers. Can everything be done?
So is the EV customer more app savvy relatively?
Oh yes, 100%.
Than the ICE?
100%.
You've seen that?
100%. He's more app savvy, and he's willing to participate with the OE or the dealership and the OE in the complete digital journey of what we call as the 360-degree digital service process.
Okay, and one more thing, is the EV customer more open to pick and drop, because majority pick and drop happens for service, or he or she is fine that the car gets pick and dropped?
No, those sort of trends we have not seen any witness till now, that the EV customer still is okay to get his car
getting a pick and drop done?
Yeah.
What about RSA? What are the RSA requirements for a typical EV customer?
RSA also, like what our limited experience is with our roadside assistance partners is that there is no any specific, let's say, new expectation or a new infrastructure which needs to be built up. Only that we have worked very, very closely with our RSA team in the initial process. They had been to a certain point of time our charging partner also. They used to install home chargers for our cars.
Allianz, yeah, yes. I know they shared a lot of stories. Fantastic.
So they have worked hand in hand with us to ensure that the RSA process is taken care, and it's also more about upskilling their own towing truck drivers so that they can handle the basic queries and more availability of flatbeds for if at all in an unfortunate incidence of accident.
Okay, what about the flatbed? Something on that, please.
Because generally what happens is that the EV, in terms of that is another customer care point, that these customers do not prefer that's conventional towing where you see the vehicle is lifted from
The
the front
underbelly.
two wheels, they always insist that I need a flatbed for towing my car back to the workshop.
That's just a emotional issue or a technical compliance?
No, it's more of an emotional issue, not a very big technical compliance issue, but he's a very, let's say, passionate customer about his car, and he always doubts that, okay, if there's a breakdown, if they lift the vehicle, something bad should not happen to my car. So these are the initial trends that we are witnessing in the EV customers, which are very different
interesting.
from
Very interesting.
IC
Very
customers.
interesting. Puneet, you want to add something?
Yeah. I have a very contrasting side, you know. I now come from a different plane, right? So compared to the Konas or so our
Ioniq
custom,
5.
yeah, the customer care is very different. I'm actually not able to deliver what our customers expect. In IC engine, as I said, the products and after sale network is broadly settled. Here in the two-wheeler and three-wheeler, the expectation, our customers are not that app savvy. But their downtime is very important. They cannot wait. The vehicles, cannot be off-road for more than a day or two. But on the contrast, the entire ecosystem is very different. In case if the motor is defective, the three-wheeler motor, I cannot just replace the motor. It has to be taken to the supplier. He will rework and return it back, right? And even the battery, as my friend from Tata Green Energy said, it is evolving. And the four-wheeler is quite progressive. In two-wheeler, three-wheeler, it is still evolving. We are 3 years old, slowly building up the system with the supplier. And parts are, we can't just replace on the total assembly. We need to have child parts or children parts that we have in IC engine. We can have small parts, and the building can be simpler. Here, everything is getting built up. Even the agreements are getting built up. The reclaim policy, warranty policy will give me 2 years, 3 years, whereas we need to give 3 years to the customer. But the supplier says, I will not be able to give you for the charger. So this system is still evolving.
So evolving is the buzzword for EV, as simple as that. And it's really nice to see and know that there's a big contrast between electric car and electric three-wheeler and two-wheeler. Electric three-wheeler, all the more it's all about TAT, because it's about business. And business is about time. Time is money. So the vehicle is stalled, as Ramesh had mentioned in panel 1, chakka ghumte rehna chahiye. So coming to Michael. So Michael, you've heard all the thoughts over here, how it's evolving. So what are your plans? What is your game plan to support this evolving EV ecosystem at the after-sales workshops?
Yeah, no, it's a fabulous question. And firstly, just want to extend my gratitude for being here today and to be part of this expert panel. So many thanks. First time in India. So from Australia, and I think 2 key takeaways for me. One is hospitality and the welcome that I've got from the Indian people, unrivaled. Yeah. So many thanks. And then the second one that's going to really stay with me is the word jugaad. Yes. Jugaad. And I think
That's part of Make in India for India and the world.
100%. And I'm going to bring this back to everywhere I go in the world. So those are the 2 key takeaways for me. So many thanks. So we've been, as Henkel, in many different countries and different regions right now, as we've seen the battery electric vehicle industry really grow exponentially. And I think in here we see 3 main challenges when it comes to what is required in a country to be EV after sales ready. So the first one really is on the first dimension, is what we see is when it comes to a four-wheeler with a pure battery electric vehicle, there are different architectures when it comes to the battery, where it's cell to pack, module to pack, shell to chassis. All these are different architectures that require different repair procedures and different materials to be able to ensure that we restore the battery back to the original quality. Yep. So what we see here is there are 3 main applications that we at Henkel are focusing on. One is how we restore the battery pack back to the same or the proper thermal management, because we see that the battery system is very critical in terms of managing the battery at the right operating temperature. The second dimension is around sealing performance, and I think we touched on this now with the different standards in terms of IP67. So battery housing gasketing, so when you open up a battery to repair or replace a module, resealing is absolutely critical. And then the third dimension, which was what was touched on, is from a safety perspective. So when we talk about a battery, there is the myth now, or some conception in the industry around fire and thermal propagation. So ensuring that we've got solutions in the aftermarket that will ensure that if a battery is damaged, if a battery is open, that we're restoring the battery pack back to that original performance. So these are the first dimensions that we see as absolutely critical to have those solutions available in the market that's growing. The second dimension is around upskilling, and I think this is a common theme that I've heard all around today. There is a little bit of fear when it comes to battery pack around high voltage, different battery pack architectures. How do I repair? What tools do I need? What are the materials that I need? And I think in here, you know, one of the challenges that we have is how do we train and upskill the countries and the workshops and the technicians in a mass way to ensure that we really elevate the knowledge and skills. And one of the initiatives that we've now piloting in China is we've now, next year we'll launch our EV training showroom, which will be purely focused on a digital experience to really upskill that knowledge on high voltage training, as well as understanding what are the different battery architectures and how to repair. So this is something that is going to be critically important, that we can really elevate the industry's knowledge on that. And then the third one is at the OEM level, I think it's quite clear on what is the capabilities that are required to do a battery repair. But what we see through our experiences with different countries is that when the battery goes into out of warranty scenario, now we're talking about an independent aftermarket repair. And in these scenarios, we're talking about now a workshop that's doing an ICE or internal combustion engine repair. They don't have the knowledge or skills or capability to now really do those. So what we see is that knowledge in terms of what do I need to be able to conduct the repair and how to repair is going to be critical. And also access to the repair manuals. And I think here is what we need to really think about is how do we do this in a digital way and a platform that will ensure that knowledge is available. So these are the key things that we're really working through when it comes to BEV repair.
So access to repair manuals, as what Michael says, is going to be critical for the vehicle after sales for EV. So Naveen, that's a very important point for you. So first of all, Michael, I'm delightfully surprised by your deep knowledge on batteries, their architecture, and how the OEMs function. I thought you were in the adhesives business, but I think you are more in your client's technology research business. That's the way I think products are designed, made, and delivered. You have to know about your client's products and technology, and
Absolutely.
only then you can deliver and service.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're really truly focused on is truly understanding what is the requirements and needs for the industry. And we can only do that through the expertise in terms of understanding the product and what needs to be repaired. So this is something that we have a true obsession about within Henkel, and we're here to help and really support the industry in terms of that upskilling and that repair need in the future.
Sure. Can we just get Amit in the conversation because he's been waiting patiently. So friends, one quick question. Okay, it's not part of the booth quiz, it's part of the panel quiz. What is the full form of GPR? GPR, full form. Anybody? GPR. Yes, my dear friend at the back. Zor se bolna padega. Absolutely, full marks. You have, by the way, won the memento for this. You will get it, don't worry. So only one person in the entire hall could tell us the full form of GPR, which is glue, pull, repair. It is said to be the future of body repair. And only one person knew about it. So, Amit, बहुत काम करना है आपको. All yours.
Good evening, everyone, and special thanks to Anuj sir for having me on this forum over here with the senior people. Yes, we have been discussing about EV after sales. I would say, across the world, just not about EV, with the things changing, lighter vehicles coming in, trying to get better fuel mileages, and the sheet metal getting more thinner, and people moving from mild steel to aluminum, and the uh, in the workshops traditionally we do not for aluminum repair we need to have separate stud weld pulling systems, and which is a cost, and but again I would like to visualize all of you through a process on the traditional stud weld pulling. When you have a panel, you strip the paint to do the stud welding. Okay. When you strip the panel is just 0.6 mm. When you grind it to have your stud weld on it, you leave the panel only 0.4 mm. And then you do your stud welding, you create holes in the panel. You disturb the structural molecular integrity of the metal. Right? And then again, you have to remove the burrs of the stud weld. You again grind it. Please get it checked, sirs. You don't leave more than 0.25 mm sheet metal, and then you put body fillers, putties, and you repaint it. But do you actually think that panel is really worth fitting back? Is it really safe? So
That panel is not safe at all according to you, huh?
No.
Not at all?
No.
But if it's fixed by GPR, then it would be.
Sir, in GPR, you don't disturb the metal. You don't grind the metal. What we do is we take the panel, we polish it, we clean, we polish it, and then we adhere the tab, plastic tab with the glue to pull the dent out. And we reduce the size of the dent to a situation where, we can just apply a little body filler. We just, when we apply this body filler, we don't put it down to the bare metal. We just do a little sanding with a P180 grit, and it goes with the body filler surface.
So you're saying this is even more pertinent for EVs because they get into the lightweighting mode.
Yes.
So it's even more relevant for the EV body repair, you mean, huh?
Yes, in EV it is more important because when you do a stud weld pulling, you do not know what insulation is there inside, what wiring harness is there inside. It's EV, like they said, it's not a car, it's an electronic machine.
I mean, even safer while repairing, not just post-repair, even while the repair process is on, it is safer, you mean to say, huh?
iCar in the United States of America has accredited glue pull repair to be the most safest process for electric vehicle repair, and you do not need to power off the electric vehicle.
Really?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
When iCar says it, oh, they mean it. So you don't...
So for us, if you say it, we mean it then too, don't worry. Okay, so, yeah, please carry on.
So it is the most safest method, it is the least invasive method, or in fact I would say the no invasive method of repairing a dent. And I would not think that people would want to send their customers back in an unsafe car.
I would not like to drive one. What about selling or giving or taking? I would not like to drive an unsafe vehicle with my family. As simple as that.
So things
I would
are
rather
changing.
sell it off.
Yeah, things are changing. New technologies are evolving. So I would request all of you to give us an opportunity to demonstrate glue pull repair. In fact, we have our tool system in the lobby out over here.
In the vertical garden, right?
Yeah, in the vertical garden. We have done a dent, huge dent, and you can come and see.
Can I get my car to speak dent aaya hua hai?
Sure. Sure.
It won't fit here. Okay, so I think a quick 15-20 seconds key takeaway because the screen shows time's up. So every speaker, so we can start with Pune sir because we started with you, so we start with you again. 15-20 seconds key takeaway, speaker by speaker, and then we wrap up.
Yeah, one biggest challenge that we are looking forward is to set up the battery repair management. Now within the warranty period, of course, OEM will give a battery fully replaced, right? Or get it repaired and replaced. But after the warranty period, now customers will have to look for a economic repair. So we are also trying with various agencies to get the battery repaired. Network, it's going to be a big business. Is Henkel involved in that? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so Henkel, business opportunity. Ding, 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 ding. Cash register ringing in.
Absolutely. Happy to connect. Happy to connect.
In fact, I was just trying to add, whether it is Henkel or Bosch or Hella, any aftermarket companies, this is a great opportunity for independent aftermarket and OEMs to come together, because when you have less number of vehicle on road, which is EV, and you have a customer which is high expectation customer, whether it is in this side of commercial vehicle or whether the aware customer, because these customers are much highly evolved, they're looking for sustainability, and you need to service them. The partnership between the OEMs and the whole independent aftermarket ecosystem will be much greater, and that is where the access to information, access to training, access to the whole architecture of the vehicle from the tier 1 component supplier as well as OEM is a must. And today already, like you said, you have a partner of RSA, and this partner is nothing but a part of independent aftermarket. So anything which is outside the ecosystem of OEM now needs a hand holding, rather than the current status in the industry where we are very protected aftermarket in OES, and we have a very tight wall there. This needs to loosen up, and the independent aftermarket and OES has to come together to have that consumer satisfaction of that level.
Absolutely, could not agree more with you, Pandeyji. When Jatin Bhai is mentioning that we are very happy working with our RSA partner, with Allianz, they say that we have worked very closely with them. We have devised new SOPs and new processes for EV. That is because, and they've also risen up to the opportunity. That is because the customer doesn't differentiate between the RSA partner and Hyundai. For the customer, Allianz is Hyundai. As simple as that. उनके लिए Hyundai का बंदा आ रहा है, Allianz का बंदा नहीं आ रहा. So they have to represent the same ethos, same brand. So that's where the brand war gets won or defeated. As simple as that. So they are no more just a vendor or a supplier. They have to be a partner in progress. So Arindam ji, your takeaway?
Yeah. Two things I think which is really happening when EV adoption and the discussion on EV happens. This industry was being perceived by the youngsters as something which is reluctant to change. But with EV coming in, I think there is a lot more interest in new talent, new skilled workforce coming into this industry. There is a natural pull. B, I think we are also seeing for some of the early programs that we are doing around EV space, we see a lot more interest coming in from the other gender, the women in the workforce. So gender inclusivity can improve because we are no longer perceived as a dirty, you were talking about the Honda uniform example. So I'm just saying that today in EV, you are not even bothered about it because it's a much cleaner environment that we are talking about. So we see from a skilling perspective, EV and any constant, I think auto industry must think about how we can also be like IT industry, that every new year we announce something new technology. That will make more people attracted to this industry.
Bang on. My work, my pride. How many fathers are comfortable giving away their daughter's hand to a car technician or a car mechanic? Not many. But if moment they are, fixing EVs, they are no more just like doing that dirty job.
Yes, our technicians get married.
They get married. But there is a reluctance. And I'm not talking about OEM guys. I'm talking about the roadside technicians. The roadside technicians, they have all the dirty habits. There's nobody to take care of them. They are fixing a part and they are throwing the lubes in the normal sewage. Why is no one guiding them? In fact, actually, the main purpose of the governments, of the skilling body is to skill them. OEMs के लिए तो skill हो ही जाएंगे भाई. जो बंदा सड़क पे गाड़ी ठीक कर रहा है, उस तक हमारी नॉलेज कितनी पहुंच रही है, लास्ट माइल. मतलब उसको एक आदमी अपनी लड़की का हाथ देने में एक प्राइड महसूस करे. That's the real report card, quite frankly.
No, one change what is happening, but just heard from him that the females are coming much more. So आपका ये problem solve हो जाएगा. I have seen training for EV. The incoming persons are more female from women's side. And I was in Indore and I saw there is a full batch almost every second month they are getting, and the mechanics are coming, and the OE dealerships of course have started more, but also independent aftermarket. So in past, it was like not thinkable that you will have workshop having ladies and the girls in good numbers. Today it is there. So if I see the, not only electric vehicle, but the whole electrification, whole electronics coming into the, so if you look at a scanner, a car scanner going into OBD port, it's almost like you're doing a laptop repair or a mobile repair. So that is changing now. Now only thing is that in our mindset, can we accept that our industry has changed? We are also like a IT, a mobile repair or a electronics repair shop, or we are still a mechanical. See, just getting onto that lubricant mindset all the time may not pay. It's changing for us.
So we all have to upgrade. We have to evolve. It's inevitable. So Jatin bhai, your key takeaway?
So adding up to what everybody has said, I think EV has given an excellent opportunity for the entire ecosystem to upgrade itself. So if you talk about technician curriculums, so now we are working very actively, and as talk as an industry, very actively with CIAM and ASDC towards reframing the entire ITI in Polytechnic curriculum. So we are already done that. We are piloting it out at 7 or 8 ITIs and Polytech, 10 to be exact, to ITIs and Polytechnics, and who knows, probably next year it would be the throughout ITI curriculum for both IC and EV. So it gives us, any change gives us a good opportunity to jumpstart, as what you said, different things. Jumpstart the culture, jumpstart the image of our technicians, jumpstart the overall mindset with which the operations happen. So I think there's a lot of, and it very much goes along with your basics of customer profitability and growth.
So in the past panel, it was about skilling, though it was about productivity and profitability, but we were talking about skilling. Then we came to evolving, and now we are at jumpstart. It's jumpstart, it's action time. Micheal, your key takeaway?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming to the theme here, customers, and when we talk about customer centricity, yeah, I think one of the key learnings now being in the countries that have really adopted pure battery electric vehicles is the consumer who owns the vehicle does not want to wait. There is a battery that is now, state of health is not where it should be. Either a module or a cell needs to be replaced. They don't want to wait 1 month for someone to be upskilled or a product to be available in a certain location so we can do the repair. So thinking to the customer centricity piece, yeah, coming back to the theme. So I think there's some learnings to be had in terms of the countries that really have that high adoption rate of the pure battery electric vehicles, and thinking about how we can be ahead of the curve in a country that is now, I see, is just on that trajectory up, where that will be fully adopted. So I think it's now to the responsibility of the OEMs, of the aftermarket industry and the suppliers to ensure that we enable the industry to be able to get ready for that. So, coming back to the theme, Henkel is here, let's do this together. Yeah.
Perfect, bravo. Let's do it together. So Amit, your key takeaway?
Yeah. How many people would want our children to be a technician over here? I think nobody wants our children to be a technician in an automotive workshop. But yes, with the EVs, they don't call themselves technicians. They call themselves mechatronics engineer.
Mechatronics engineer.
Yes.
Sounds pretty heavy, huh?
Mechatronics engineer. You will find more young engineers who do not like you. There is a big trend of, whether you do a civil engineering or
very soon this will trend on Shadi.com, looking for a mechatronics engineer.
So, like a lot of people who do automobile engineering and, try to either go into the IT way or, try to move into sales or some other jobs, but not into the core field unless and until they don't get a job with an OEM. So, but with the EV trend going up, you will find more people getting interested. They want to learn the technology, and this is, upskilling the ITI technicians will take some time, but the immediate need of, EV and vehicle understanding for a repair is our young engineers.
So all the people who are going to make it happen are right here. Whether it is startups, whether it is, established players like, Henkel, like Nippon, Volkswagen, MG, whether it's RSA players, like Global Assure, like Allianz, GPR, everybody is here. Aftermarket, OEM, dealers, everybody is here. Let's come together. Instead of fighting a particular thing, this guy is a ICE guy, this guy is a EV guy, this guy is a GPR guy, this guy is a strut welding guy. Let's come together. Let's embrace change because it's inevitable. Let's embrace change and let's be together. So on that note, thank you so much. Sorry I have to cut the Q&A. And Deepthi, please take over. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
The end is yet to come, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few more minutes. This is the last set of felicitations that is going to take place. And I want you to show your best love for all the people out here. First most, clap for yourselves. We've gone through a very good day of learning, laughing, and taking back a lot of things, getting wiser from the day. Invite the representatives from number 1 Volkswagen India and Global Assure to do the honors. Can I have them here?
For Global Assure and for Volkswagen India.
Yes. No, the claps are very meek. I want more energy. The smiles are there. Everybody is smiling but not clapping enough. So, number 1 to begin with, I would like to call Mr. S. Punnaivanam, CXO Quality and After Sales, Greaves Electric Mobility. Sir, can I have you here? No, in front. A loud round of applause for him for being able to make it despite all odds. Thank you so much, sir. I'm so happy you could make it. Yes. Next, I would like to call on stage, in front, Mr. Arindam Lahiri, CEO, Automotive Skill Development Corporation, ASDC. These claps should not cease. Next, Mr. Rama Shankar Pandey, CEO, Tata Green Batteries. Sir, can we have you forward? Next one is Mr. Jatin Tiwari, Head Field Service, Vertical, Hyundai Motor, India. Please allow me to take the pleasure to call on stage Mr. Micheal Hajj, Global Head of Application Engineering, Vehicle Repair and Maintenance, Henkel Adhesives Technologies. Last but not the least, Mr. Amit Asija. Please come forward, sir. National BD Manager, India and Sri Lanka, KECO Body Repair Products. I would request everyone to please come forward. It's going to make a great capture. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you so much once again, everyone.